you miss anything, I will send it in a follow-up email tomorrow. And I will stick around for a little bit. If you have any questions for me, you can always use the chat. Should be at the bottom there to message me privately. And if not, have a great class. And Pam, I'll pass it off to you.
Okay, thank you. I have hit recording, so we are on. And so my name's Pam. If you've been joining me, welcome back. There are some great names I recognize here. And if you haven't been with me before, then welcome. I do various jewelry designs. So I teach, I do design. I have been published, if that means anything. And this is Indy. He is my teaching assistant who refuses to stay in the cage. Oh, Linda says hi, Indy. Can you say hi back? No, okay. He's not on demand. So today what we're going to do, we're going to learn to create a bracelet. And I'm going to just switch over to my other camera here. So this is what we're going to create today. It is done with right angle weave, and it's embellished by this cross work. Now I am left-handed, so your cross work will probably go in a different direction. And because I'm left-handed, and if you're right-handed, we're just going to be doing opposites. So we'll be mirror imaging each other. But what's nice, this crotch hatching is on both sides. And because it's on both sides, you can actually do it reversible. So for example, on this black one side is gold, the other side is silver. But what you need for this are 6mm beads. And you can see that they could be stones, they could be faceted glass. The other thing is that you can do pearls. So let me move this up so you can see. Now, you can also, once you get used to it, you can also play. So you'll notice I did slightly bigger pearls here in the middle to the other, because then when you wear it, you have a little bit of a focal. So the instructions will not include this, but this is what you can do when you get comfortable with it. So this would be design your own and play with it. So as I say, we're going to be using 6mm beads. We also want to use some smaller beads, size 11s. They can be regular seed beads or delica beads. Delica beads are a cylinder bead, so they're a slightly different shape, but both work really well. I call this fire and ice because it had to do with the coldness of glass and the warmth of beads. But what it really looks like is all one continuous piece going around the rope of beads. And that's really an optical illusion. And you're going to be able to see how this is done. So let me set this aside. Here's my beads that I'm going to be working with. So the first thing you need to do, and I will be pausing for questions. We do have 35 people on the line. So I'm just going to ask you to hold your questions until I sort of take a couple of breaks here. I'm also going to be using, these are cylinder beads in sort of a steel color. And as far as thread, I'm going to be using Fireline. Fireline in this case, there we go. Fireline, in this case, I like better simply because there is no stretch. And you are doing things against the edges of the beads quite a bit. And I don't want to take a chance of it cutting. So that's why I use Fireline for this. 6 pound is fine. Fireline is actually a braided fishing thread. It is not a monofilament. It is braided. And Beadsmith does put them in these small packages for beading, and you can get this at most bead stores. I do work at Bead Effects. I know they have it here. But if you go to a fishing store such as Big Bass Pro or Sale or any of those places that sell supplies, you can get it in bigger spools there as well. Okay, so in addition to that, you need 2 needles because we're going to learn the 2 needle method of doing right angle weave, which I'm just getting tangled in everything. Okay, here we go. So what you want to do is pull a full wingspan of fire line. And a wingspan is your arms outstretched, fingers tip to tip. And so if you are following along with me, by all means do that now. How many are doing it with me? Just wave your hands and I'll be able to see. Okay, Dale is joining me. Let's see, who else have we got? Okay, Susan is wonderful. Okay, so just go ahead and throw thread both ends of your thread onto a needle. So, and I'm going to wait here. Okay. Okay, so while we're waiting, any questions so far? Feel free to take yourself off mute and go ahead and ask me anything you want. That way I'm not here in the room by myself, just me and my budgie.
Pam, are you using size 10 beading needles?
10 is fine. There's no issue for beads, needles to go through this, and size 10 goes through the seed beads and delicate beads just fine too.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So you all have instructions. What we're going to do, let's put our first bead on. So I'm going to stick one bead on, one needle, and I'm just going to take it all the way down to the middle. Like that. Okay, so my next one, this time I'm going to put a bead on each needle, and this will get less awkward as we go. And I'm going to pop those beads down all the way to the middle so you can see what it is I'm doing. Okay, so there are the 3 beads I put on. This time I'm going to put on bead on one needle, take it off, and take the other needle in the opposite direction. As soon as I find the hole. There we go. So you've got the needle now with the thread going through it in both ways, and I'm bringing it down so that it crosses like that. And you'll see that on the diagram. So all we do now is just take, again, needle on, bead rather on each needle. Take it down. And if it's not exactly in the middle, don't worry about it. We've got enough thread here. And again, we're going to take one bead onto the needle and take the other needle in the opposite direction. We're crossing our threads in the middle of that bead so that we have it gathering like that. Okay, and we're going to keep doing that until it almost gets around our wrist. So this is like watching paint dry, so I'll do this as quickly as I can. And as you do it, if it's like mine, it's tangling on everything that's around it. So as you do it, you do want to make sure that it's snugged up as opposed to having gaps. So, come on, behave, get in there. Of course, if you have to talk to your beads, so be it. So you do want to keep it snugged up so you don't have gaps of thread. But what you're creating is this ladder effect of beads as you go. It's going to feel loose, but that's okay because when we add our enhancements, it will tighten up on its own. Okay, so all the way down. as I say, just keep it snugged up. You don't have to keep it overly tightened. Okay, so, oh, somebody, I'm just going to open the chat here. Somebody's asked a question. Oh, that was Indy. There. And sometimes when you do see beading, the thread gets in the way, and it's just a matter of practicing patience. So for most size wrists, I think I put in, yeah, about 50 beads works quite well. Okay, it's not all beads, by the way, have holes. I think, yeah, that one doesn't have a hole in it. So that's... Sometimes depending where you get your beads, wow, some of these beads are really, So how long should you make it? Well, that all depends on the size of your wrist and the kind of clasp you're doing. So, for example, you'll see that the clasp takes up about 3/4 of an inch. Okay, this particular style or this particular pattern has a little bit of hangover here. The reason on your list of what to have, a little bit of chain. If you happen to run out of beads, or if it's a little short, you can use a chain as an extender. And that will make a smaller bracelet longer. So this particular bracelet, I was going to put a magnetic clasp on it. So that's about how much is what I want in this bracelet. Magnetic clasp will give me enough ease to put that in. So for me, I want it about this long. So I better get going. Did everyone have a good Thanksgiving?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Certainly, as you put beads on, it makes the thread a little bit shorter and therefore a little easier to manage as well.
Helps to be ambidextrous.
It does. It does. You don't realize just how unambidextrous you are until you try to do something with your other hand. I just came out of a knitting class, And I knit right-handed. I'm not sure how I don't think I could wrap my head around knitting left-handed. But it's amazing how accommodating one needs to be when you're learning to do something with your non-dominant hand.
Mhm.
Now, you could certainly do this with smaller or larger beads. You would need to do some accommodation in the length that you're doing it. Certainly you would, if you're doing smaller beads like 4 millimeters, you would need to do many more beads. If you're doing with larger beads, then of course you would not need as many beads for it to go around your wrist. You also can do this as a necklace, and I will show you a necklace that I've done and how I created a curve for the front of the necklace. But first things first, let's work on the bracelet. Okay, let's see how far I have to go. Okay, ways yet. So as you're adding length and you feel it's getting long enough, just double check it against your wrist, because you want to leave, I would say, an inch by the time you add the loops on the end plus your clasp. If you're using a larger clasp, such as a toggle clasp, that takes up more space, then allow that in your overall measurements. Bracelets are actually one of the hardest things to do, because a ½ an inch smaller or larger makes a big difference in how it fits. It's not as critical in a necklace. However, for a bracelet, it can be crucial. And when I've done classes and it's, you know, they've made a bracelet that's way too big, then it's like, okay, we'll see if it fits around your anklet and wear it in the summer. So there's always more than one way of working on something like this. See how this should do it. Okay, how's everyone doing out there? If you're going along with me, how's it coming? Is it coming along okay? I shall assume that's a good answer. Okay.
That's beautiful, Susan.
So far, so
Oh,
good.
Oh, Susan, that looks great. Susan, perfect.
But
Dale,
I bought the wrong beads because I loved the color, and when I took them off the string, they're like white on the side.
Oh, okay. You won't notice it. You won't notice it at all, because we're going to be
Color
filling
doesn't
in
go
some of
all the
that.
way- The color is not all the way around.
Okay, so it's
So I was-
coated
So I
glass.
bought these. I guess, I don't know. I bought these in Montreal about 5 years ago and didn't know what I was going to make with them. So, but I love the color. I couldn't resist.
Okay. Well, it's sort of like working with yarn. You know, you love it. You aren't sure what you're going to make, but you buy enough to hope that it'll make something. So, okay. So how many have I got here? 20. Okay. These must be just slightly smaller. All right. Okay, so Dale, how are you doing? Can we go on to the next step? You're muted there, Dale.
I'm good.
You're good? Okay. Oh, that looks great. Okay. Good. Okay, so I'm going to proceed. I'm not trying to rush anybody, but being we do have 38 people on, and welcome to all of those 38 people. I am going to now go ahead. I'm going to move these other beads out of the way. And now I'm going to work using my Delica beads. So I'm going to put some beads there. And I'm going to, you'll notice that my bracelet is laying across, it's running east and west. I'm left-handed, so my needle and that is on my left side. If you are right-handed, then you're going to turn it so that your needle is on the right side. Okay, like this. So this is left-handed. This is left. This is right. Okay, it's like, what can I say? This is right-handed. This is left-handed. I'm going to use only the needle right now that is coming out the top, because I've got two threads, and I'm only going to use this thread right now. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I want to create this end. Okay, now, can everyone see that? Do you want me to bring it down a little bit here? Okay. So to create this loop, I'm going to pick up 12 beads. And if you're using seed beads or Delica beads, this number should work fine if you're using size 11 beads. If you're using something a little bit smaller, like if you're using 15s, then you will need more beads. If you're using bigger beads, even a size 10 is just a little bit bigger, then you may want to make an adjustment. But for right now, I'm just going to pick up 12 beads. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I'm going to bring them down. And I'm going to go through this bead again. So my thread is coming out the top. I'm going to go in the bottom, because what I'm going to do is to create a loop around this last bead like this. And if it gets loose, just tighten those up like that. Okay, so there is my end loop. That loop is going to be used to attach the clasp to, like that. So I'm back, still working with my upper thread, which is tangling on everything. Okay. The other thread, just ignore it. Although I will occasionally just tighten it up just to make sure that I'm not getting too loose on things. So to create this back, these sort of half crosses, I'm going to pick up 8 beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My thread is coming out the top here. I'm going to go catty corner to the next middle bead. This one here. Put it back into the focus so you can see. So I'm coming out of this bead right here. I'm going to go catty corner to this next bead and come in the bottom. And when I pull this through, it's going to cross itself like that. Now, it's really important. I used to do this in my hands. This is the other thread getting loose. Okay, I used to hold this and do it in my hands. Don't do that. The reason I don't want you to do that is because you can inadvertently start it to corkscrew. So, okay, that's this one. So, and you're going to do this all the way along. So again, my thread is coming out the top of this bead. Pick up another 8. 6, 7, 8. And again, I'm going catty corner to this next single bead and going into the bottom and through. If you find that catty corner is not happening or you're not getting that half across, then just pull it back and try again. Now, I am going to pause for a minute because this is loosening up quite a bit. I'm going to actually take the other needle, wherever I've put it, and go through just those 12 beads because I think that is throwing my my tension off a little bit. So if you find your tension is being pulled, just take your other needle and go through the 12 beads at the side and let it be, and that will help that. So
I can't see from here. Raise a little bit up.
oh, I'm sorry. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking that extra thread, going through those 12 beads at the end, and back down this hole. It was throwing my tension off further down the piece.
Pam, at
Yes.
what point, if you're doing that loop, can you not attach the ring at that point?
You can. You are using an open jump ring,
Okay.
so you
all right.
can use or do it later. I
Okay.
would not attach my clasp directly to that. The reason I like to use jump rings to attach clasps is that should anything ever happen and you catch your bracelet on something, you can hurt your wrist.
Okay. And you'll show us
Okay.
how to put that on later?
I will show you how to put that on, yes.
Thank you so much.
You're quite welcome. Okay, so I'm just going to continue this all the way along by putting 8 on. And this is the part that takes a little bit more time. If you find that you don't like the 8 and you want more, then go ahead and add more. If you like, you do want it to sort of fill in across from corner to corner. And that does help it give sort of the illusion of a continuous strand. 6, 8. Okay, and notice that I am leaving it. Okay, bring this up because I know it's crawling towards me a little bit as I do it. Does anyone else make jewelry using seed beads and stuff?
They're getting too small to see.
Oh yes, you need a good light.
Yeah.
Definitely for anything like this, you need a very good light. So, and if you find as you do it, your thread slides under, that's okay. Just untangle it and continue. Okay, just like it's done here for me. Okay. It's
Yeah, now you can talk.
What, can she hear you?
Yeah, but I've muted it.
How do you like it?
Good.
just to let you know you're not muted. We can hear you.
Ah, great.
Not to worry. Just in case you were going to tell secrets, that's all. That's all.
How long would you make your string if you were doing a necklace?
I would do that in 2 halves.
Oh,
I would do that in 2 halves. So in a necklace, I would start here and do so much, and then with another thread, start another thread and move to the other side. Otherwise, you are working with yards,
yards,
and
yeah.
yeah, and it would just be way too much to handle. 6, 8. Yeah, I'll show you, as I say, the necklace. And what's nice about this technique, at least for the base row, is that you can start in any direction. So for example, my threads are on this side here, but I could add a new thread and continue this way. And, you know, you can start even the embellishment, as long as you're always going in the same overall direction. And the, you know, your diagonals are all in the same direction. You can actually start from any point at all. 6, 8. And as you do it, you will notice this tightening up just a little bit, and more so when we do it on the other side. 6, 8.
Pamela, a latecomer here, sorry.
Yes, hi, welcome.
Thank you. How do we know what size the beads are if they're not marked? How can we measure?
Most places where you buy them from, they will mark them and say how many millimeters they are. What you can do, if you are unsure, grab a tape measure, go to, these are metric, so grab a tape measure and just put a bead on it. I'll do one where it's more in the light. And you can get a rough estimate as to how big that bead is.
So you would do it from hole to hole?
Yeah, well, from side to side.
It doesn't matter. Yep. Sorry.
Yeah, from side to side.
Yeah, if it's circular, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, if it's circular, but most places when they sell it, they will tell you.
I know. I just have a whole bunch. I don't know where they came from. And it's like,
oh, I have a whole stash like that.
Yeah. And you know, you said, what was it, 6 millimeter?
Yep.
And I don't think there's 6 millimeter. And then I'm thinking, well, how can I measure? Like,
well, some beads too, like these are perfectly round. I'm not sure if they're stone. I think they're glass.
Yeah.
But even like some of these fire polish, you'll notice that they're not perfectly round.
So how would you measure those? Like from hole to hole?
From hole to hole, yes.
Okay.
So the length is 6 millimeters.
Okay.
Not necessarily the width.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes, very much, very much. Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, perfect.
What about with the seed beads? Because I've got a couple of gift sets that were given to me, and some of them are bigger. How do I do the same thing?
Seed beads are a little bit more difficult. Seed beads come from different parts of the world. And I think size 11 seed beads are supposed to be 2.5 millimeters.
Okay.
Yeah. The higher your number, the smaller your bead is. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So a size 11 seed bead will be smaller than a size 8. And depending on the manufacturer, whether it's done in the Czech Republic or in Japan, or even within manufacturers like Toho and Miyuki, they can have minute size differences.
And they don't really make that much difference.
To be honest, between you know, as long as you think you're within all size 11s, you're fine.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, thank-
I mean, it really is very minute. Okay, so I'm coming almost to the end here.
Can you use a flexible bead needle for this?
You can. It may be, you may have a little less control of it than you like, but yes, you
Okay.
can. It may not hold the needle or the thread quite so well because they tend to have bigger holes,
Yes.
but certainly the bigger holes make it easier to thread. There is something called big eye needles, and they are wonderful. And what it looks like are two pairs of wires. I'm just looking to see what I've
Yes.
got here.
Yes, and you
Yeah.
squeeze them.
Yeah, so this, for example, this is a large big eye needle,
Yeah.
Okay.
and that's the eye.
Yes.
So you can actually put your fiber in, just take it to one side and just use it as a needle. This does come smaller, and but it works really, really well.
Perfect.
So-
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, last one here. Okay. So I have done this whole bit here. Let me pull this back a little bit. So now I'm just going to set my working thread aside, and I'm going to flip this over. There's the side I haven't done yet. And you'll notice I have a needle, my thread here, and I'm going to do the exact same thing all the way along. Now, I did already put it through those 12 beads and through the end bead. So where we are, if you're looking at your written instructions, this is the end. And you're putting a thread, both threads sort of going each other's way, crossing through these beads. And that actually helps to give some strength and shape to these, to this end bead here and bit there.
Okay, question. At
Yes.
that point, okay, I'm struggling because I've got my last bead on. I did your like 10 beads on the end and it was loose. Is there any way to make those larger beads nice and snug before we do the little tiny ones on the end?
What you can do is just take your threads and just tighten it up, and you can just like move along and
I did
tighten things
that.
up. You
And
did
then
that?
it loosened up as soon as I put the little beads on and tried to tighten it. And I'm now, I just taken it out and gone back to where I was at that point. Is there a way to secure that so it's not going to shift?
You, before you start putting it on, go through, do the 12 beads on either side and go through in both ways. That's what was messing me up.
Yeah, so I have to secure it before I get to that point. That's where it's loosening. So can I go around the last 4 beads or something at the very end before I put the little ones on?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
you can do that if that's going to help. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we've done this side. Now, one of the, sorry, did somebody have a question?
Yes, sorry, the 12 beads that you put on, is that going to be also for the lobster clasp?
Yes, you're going to put the lobster clasp on one end and the jump ring
On the other.
end, but you're going to attach the lobster clasp with the jump ring.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've already taken my thread through all these 12 and back through this end bead. So I'm ready. As I say, I'm going to flip over to the side I haven't done, and I'm going to do this all over again.
If you wanted to use a different color, could you? Or would it look funny?
No, it wouldn't look funny. Thanks for reminding me. So that is what I did here. On the one side,
Yeah.
I did it all in gold.
Yes.
And then when I flipped it over and ready to start, I did it all in another color. And what I did down here was to choose which one I wanted gold and which one I wanted silver. No one really sees that part anyways. What they see is this part. And that's how you can do two different colors and make it reversible.
Right now, Pamela, if someone comments on the edges, you say you're too close.
That's right, yes. When I teach jewelry making 101, I teach also how to do earrings, and people are fretting because one earring is like a micro
Yes.
eighth of an inch longer than the other. And I said, well, just tilt your head that much. And when that doesn't go over well, then, you know, I said, well, if somebody notices, then they better have chocolates and flowers with you as well. So, you know, they're in your personal space. But I think that's the mark of things that are handmade, is that they're not perfect. Perfection really is part of the industrial world and machine made. It's not to say it's wrong, it's just not perfect. Okay, so there's the first stitch that I've done, and you'll notice that it does look like it's a continuous bit here. So we're just going to do this all the way along.
If you use larger beads, not the seed, but the round beads,
yeah,
you would just use more seed beads.
That's correct.
Okay, so all it needs to do is be kind of snug. You don't want it floppy.
You don't want it floppy. You'll notice here that they don't meet necessarily, because you are using two threads, but it looks, you know, pretty close to being looking like a continuous piece.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, if you wanted to not necessarily make it reversible, you could do each one a different color as well. So you could, you know, change up your design even more. This, when I designed this, I sort of took it from the something called an X's and O's pattern. X's and O's are hugs and kisses.
Yes.
And it really is a matter of X's meaning kisses. And I broke it in half. So this round part here would be the hugs, and then these are half of the kiss. If I wanted to, okay, so another design thing, I'm coming out here. What if I took it back this way? And created an X.
That's very nice.
There is so much you can do with beads. There is no right or wrong way.
But if you did that, Pamela, would you not go one way first and then back the second way?
Yes, yes. Yeah. I that was simply showing you of what you could do.
Understand.
No, you definitely would go all the way back one way and then come all the way back.
Then you'd also have to have a bigger bead for the hole to accommodate all the threads going through.
Actually, these 6 millimeter beads really do have a good size hole.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never had to worry about filling up the hole on those. Of course, having said that, now this is why I have you keep it on the board. If I pull it, see how that corkscrews?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So keeping it on the board and keeps it loose enough that it will not corkscrew. There's still a little bit of an element. I do feel it in this, but it does lie flat. These are great questions. Thank you.
Totally off topic.
Yes.
The rope necklace that we made.
Yes.
Very nice.
Oh, I'm so glad you liked it.
And what I like about it is I don't know if it's a thread I used or what, but it's floppy. It's not stiff.
It has a nice drape to it.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did the black, the matte black and the shiny black. Won't do that again because you can't really. It's not the beading. it's just you spend so much time and energy and you don't really notice it. You need to do different colors. Something
It would have a subtleness.
it's
And
so
in the right
shiny,
light, you
so
would
bright.
see that. Yeah,
I just
Yeah.
like something a little more.
definition.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But that was very nice. Like it very.
Oh, good. I'm glad you liked it. Jill Wiseman does some amazing designs. She does have a YouTube channel, and she does a lot of, she has a lot of free patterns, and that was one of them. And my offer is that if you do have a free pattern and you have questions about it, then I'm willing to help. So you can always email me. And sometimes it's just a matter of how to interpret what she says. That's all.
Now, this bracelet, would it be, there's a lot of thread going back and forth. Is it going to be like stiff?
No, no, it's not. It's not stiff at all.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's not stiff at all.
Pamela, this is really off topic, but I'm relatively new to beading, and every time I try and do a project, I go out and buy stuff, and it's never the right stuff, even though I go to a bead store. What do you suggest I get as a starter kit of the wires and all the junk I'm going to need?
Best thing to do.
Like right now, I did.
Supplies, you need supplies.
Yes.
Not junk.
Yeah, but with.
Oh, no, trust me, I have bought junk. I have bought junk before I knew what I needed.
I've got lots of junk here that I probably will never use. So this is what has me concerned. Like right now, I didn't have firewire.
Fireline, yeah.
Or fireline.
That's okay. Yeah, yeah.
You can tell I came from computers.
That's okay.
So I'm using Sofix. What am I using?
You're using
Softflex 0.019 medium sterling.
Yeah, so that's beading wire.
Oh, so is that wrong for this?
Yes.
Well, there you go. It's looking good.
Why is that wrong?
Softflex beading wire is a beading wire, and that's what you use for crimps.
Oh, it's a
So if you're creating a crimped bracelet, like a regular bracelet that you would buy in the store, like a single strand bracelet or a single strand necklace, that's what you would use, as opposed to something which is more thread-like that you can tie. So beading wire you can't tie.
Okay, so I'm doing a great job of it, Dan.
Well, actually, what I'm going to suggest you do is email me. I'm going to put in chat. Okay, so let me put my email here. What you can do is email me, because we might be able to do a crimp on that.
Okay.
Whereabouts do you live? Do you live here in Toronto?
Yeah,
oh,
East York.
You're around the corner from me. I'm in East York as well.
Yeah, I'm in
wherever
Greenwood.
You are.
Greenwood and Danforth is where I am.
So you know where Bead Effects is?
Yeah, I've been there.
Okay. Next time you come to Bead Effects, ask for me. I work Monday to Friday, or Monday to Thursday rather, and I'll come out and give you a hand.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're quite welcome. Yeah, no, I used to work in the store. I missed it because I don't see the people anymore. I'm in the back. And normally I would be doing a jewelry making 101, but because of the pandemic, I'm not comfortable right now of doing in-person classes.
Right.
But next time you're in, maybe give me a day's notice by giving me a shout or calling the store.
Okay.
And I can make sure that I come out and answer some questions.
Well, you're so sweet. Because I've only actually finished one thing, and it was a pair of earrings, and I couldn't make the loop with the wire, with
Yep. Yeah.
ball wire or the whatever it's called.
Yeah, the head pin.
Couldn't make that loop nice, so I used a jump ring, and I don't like the way they look, but I
Okay.
get so many compliments on them. People love them, so I'm quite pleased with that. But
Pamela, what do you think of dental floss
For what purpose?
for beading?
It does not knot very well.
Okay.
It slips. If you were going to knot with it, then I would use a drop of glue or nail polish at the knot. The other thing is that it's meant not to be, hold on. It's not meant to last forever. And so it naturally will break down over time.
All right. Thank you.
Pamela, if you have, you make earrings.
Yep.
And you have a seed bead, and you need to put a wire through the seed bead to put the ear hook on.
Yeah.
But there's no jump ring small enough. What would you use?
I wouldn't try to put it through a jump ring. I would, couple of things you can do. You can create a loop of beads.
No, don't want to do that.
Don't want to do that. Okay.
Yeah.
You could create, okay, yeah, that can be a little bulky.
No, truth be told, sorry, it does have a little loop, but I made from seed beads, but the earring, the way the earring hook goes on, the hook on the earring hook isn't big enough to accommodate the bead.
Oh, okay. It doesn't go through the loop of beads?
No.
How big are your beads?
I've got size, I think I use 11 beads or 10 beads, but the hook is just not big enough.
I'm thinking.
And the way the earring will sit, you can't put a jump ring because then it'll turn it.
It'll turn it the other way.
Yeah.
A couple things you could try. Are you familiar with wire guardians?
Yes, I saw that and I was wondering about that.
You could take your thread up one side of the wire guardian and down the other and bury it. And that wire guardian is thin enough that your ear wire should hold on to it.
Yeah.
And it's neat. It is neat that way.
Okay.
The other thing that you could do if you wanted something a little finer.
My cat's trying to help me pick up my beads.
Yeah, good old cats. The other thing you could do is, if you're familiar with pearl knotting, there's an animal or a product called French wire. And it is a very French wire. And it is a very fine coiled wire that's normally put at the end of pearl knotting. And a little bit of that, again, just on the thread and back down, creates a very fine wire, very fine loop. That would be fine.
Okay.
So those are two possibilities.
Okay.
Okay, so
thank you.
You're quite welcome. We are almost at 7:30, so I'm just going to go ahead here. So I have done both sides like that. I now have to just create this loop, the same loop that's over here. So what I'm going to do is just get my threads straightened around that have tangled on each other. Okay, so whichever one I want, I'm going to pick up 12. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12. And because, let's see, do it this way. Because I'm going to create a loop around this bead, my thread is coming out this side, I'm going to go in this side. And when I pull through, that creates a loop. Okay, I'm going to loosen that up a little bit, and I'm going to go through with the other thread these same beads, but my thread is on the other side, so I'm going to go in from the opposite direction. Just have to get all my beads in place here. So here, and we're just crossing through these threads like we cross through all those beads. Okay, there, and just bring it through, catching on everything. And I'm just going to go through the bead on the other side and carry it through. And I'm just going to tighten like this, and I magically get a loop. That is finished. All I need to do now is just finish it off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's see what's the easiest way to do here. Okay, I'm going to use this thread that's here and go through these no, and have them crisscross. Is that cat giving you grief?
Oh, can you hear me? I better, yes.
Yeah. It's okay.
Yes,
It's okay.
she is.
Okay.
She's trying to knock beads on the floor, and then she's trying to fuse wire, and
no, she's being a cat.
Yeah, she
Okay,
is. And then on top of that, she's smacking my forehead with her forehead at the same time.
Okay, so what I've done is I've traveled my thread through these beads here, and I've come out the other side. Here is my other thread, and I'm just going to travel so these threads are close to each other like that. I'm going to tie these two threads together.
Oh.
I'm going to take them off the needle so I don't poke myself millions of times. And I'm going to tie these two threads. And I'm going to use a surgeon's knot. A surgeon's knot is very much the same as a square or reef knot for those of us who have been in Girl Guides before. Being I'm left-handed, I always tend to start with my left hand, but you could start with either hand you want. Let me zoom out so you can see a little bit better. Okay, my goodness, we're up to 38 people. I'm amazed by this. Okay, so left side over right side, 2 unders. In other words, I'm going around that thread twice. And I'm going to snug it up. Not overly tight. Remember, I don't want this to corkscrew. Okay, so that's tightened in there. I'm going to find my ends again. So last time I started with my left. This time, I'm going to start with my right. So right side over left and 1 under. And again, tighten it up. That is a surgeon's knot. And I understand surgeons really do use that knot. So that is tied. I'm going to just shorten these threads so that when you go to cut fire line, it's always a good idea to keep it taut. Otherwise, it just gets in your scissors. So as you cut it, just run, keep it taut in your scissors. And then if you can do this at one at a time as well. You can thread your needle with both or just thread them separately. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Ooh, it worked that time. And at this point, I'm just going to bury my threads. And to do that, I'm just going to follow thread paths here. You can go back up there. I know it's not going to fall apart because I have created that knot. But I do tend to go down these sort of half crosses.
So you don't have to do half hitch knots anymore.
Not for this, no, not for this. So, and I'm just going to go down this one part way, and that should be enough. We've got so many threads going on here, I don't think it's going to fall apart. So I'm coming out midway between this cross. The reason I'm doing that and not at the end is because if you do it midway, it'll hide better. So what I'm going to do, I'm just putting my scissors here. I'm pulling on this to make it taut and just cutting it that way. That's done. So let me just grab my, hold on. Okay, so I'm just going to take the clasp and stuff off of one and put it onto the other. To open and close jump rings, to open, you bring one part toward you, one part away, like that. Okay.
Was that a magnet?
It is a magnet.
Okay.
It is so much easier.
When would you not use a magnet?
If you tend to do a lot with your hands and sort of catching things, magnets are convenient, but not the most secure.
Yes.
Not the most secure. So to close a jump ring, I'll get back to you. To close a jump ring, again, pliers on either side. And I'm going to bring those two together. I'm not ever opening or trying to straighten out this at all. You want to make sure that there's no opening here. It is a little crooked though. As you can see, they do hold on to everything. Okay, so you want to make sure that there is no opening at all. So that is joined. Let me just take the other one off. I have been on, you know, I've worn my bracelets onto subways and been to, you know, at dinners and that, and the magnet will catch and stick around onto the subway poles, and it'll catch all the silverware. So if you're going to, I would say a magnet is best worn if you're not doing a lot of activity, and that you can monitor that your bracelet's still there. If you're doing a lot of activity that you may not notice your bracelet come off, then that may not be the best place for it. So again, I'm putting this on. I'm going to, oh, I should have put the magnet on the other side too. Put this on. Now this could be a lobster clasp or anything else as well. A lobster clasp is this. I happen to like magnets because I don't have anyone to help put on bracelets.
What
And
about a
Indy just
toggle?
I find toggles even less secure. I lose a lot of toggles.
I like toggles.
Toggles are great if they're not too loose, because you need to have the tension on the toggle to keep it closed. But yes, you can see that the magnets do hold on to everything, including your tools.
Pamela,
Yes,
I've put a safety chain on with a magnet.
that's an excellent idea. Yes,
And,
that is a
it
very good
comes
idea.
handy because I have lost bracelets without the safety chain, and it's kind of sad when you lose a bracelet, but the safety chain really makes a difference.
Yeah, and your safety chain is just long enough so it, you know, you can still get it on and off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's how it looks when it's done.
Very pretty.
So, thank you. Now, if you wanted to, sorry?
I'm going to try that tomorrow.
Good, I'm glad. So this is one with the toggle. And I've got the jump ring on the end. However, you can also add just a little bit of chain on the end. So if you give it to somebody and you aren't sure their size, then they can make it just a little bit bigger. So that's good for the safety chain. Let me show you that. What did I do with it? Here we are. Okay, so here is the necklace. So what I've used here are size 6 seed or size 6 pearls and larger pearls along the outside and a little bit here in the middle. The reason it curves is because I have smaller beads on the outside and larger beads on the outside. So it creates, it naturally lies in a curve, but it's all done the same way.
Would that lay flat if you're wearing it?
Yes, it does. Yeah. Yeah, it does lay flat. And I've just added in the middle here, just instead of 6s in the crossover part, I've added the larger beads as well.
Well, what size beads are you using on the inside, the smaller ones?
The smaller ones are 6s and the larger ones, let me check here. 8s.
Okay, thank
you.
you.
I've used, you're welcome. Yeah, I've used 6 and 8s. And these are actually glass pearls.
Pamela, you've got 1, 2, 3 big ones in the center on the bottom.
I did that just so it would lie flat. It wouldn't curl so much in the front. And just to use it as a focal as well.
Yeah. Can you say approximately how many beads on the outside of the 8s?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1 to about the middle. So about 42.
42. And double that for the 6.
Yeah.
42.
Yeah. So that's the 8s. And then, double it. Plus you've got the ones in the middle. So you've got a few extras as well.
Oh yeah, in the middle. And so the middles are 6s as well, right?
The middles are 6s except directly in the front. Okay. And I have used, these are in a strand, and I'm not sure how many are in a strand, but I use 1, 2, 3, 4. I use 4 strands of 6 millimeters and 2 strands of 8s. As I say, I'm not sure how many's in a strand, but these came from John Bead and they are glass pearls. It doesn't seem to say how many were on it. So
I think it's approximately 25.
25 to 30, yeah. Yeah. And of course you can do it also with glass beads for fire polish as well. And this is something very similar. And again, I use the size 6s and 8s. And it's just twisted. There we go.
Is that actually seed beads or are they bugle beads?
These ones?
Yeah.
No, those are seed beads. That's exactly what we've done today. These are using delicate beads.
Pamela, is there any reason why there would be a problem if you didn't want to do the looping on the other side with the seed beads and just did one side?
No, there wouldn't be an issue. Nope. Nope, not at all. It should lay just fine. And the tension should be the same as well.
Could you use bugle beads? Or they're just too long?
It depends on the size of the bugle beads. Bugle beads do come in various sizes. So if you have short ones, then I would see what it looks like with 2 or 3 on it and see how it fits. Bugle beads do tend to have very sharp edges, just so you know.
You could put a seed in a bugle and a seed. That would-
That's what I was going to suggest. Put a seed bead first, then a bugle bead and another seed. And that will help keep the thread from rubbing too much against the edges of the bugle bead. So you could do it that way as well.
That would look pretty.
It would, yeah. And of course you can mix your colors as well. There's so much you could do.
Wrong building. Right apartment, wrong building.
Oh.
She wants 11. 11 is right
So-
there. I think, right?
Any other questions or
Right there, right?
comments?
11?
No, right over here.
Yeah, 11. 11's beside
Yeah,
it, right there.
Pamela?
Okay.
I have a question. What's a bugle bead?
Bugle bead is,
Where are you going? To the
Think-
ship feed?
it's a very long bead. It's like, think of a tube.
Oh, okay.
Okay, think of a tube. As I say, they come in different sizes. They are made of glass. They come in some beautiful colors. And bugle beads can be used to dangle as well. If you've seen some of the earrings that have dangles, they have sort of this fringe that looks like, and it's like long beads. Those are bugle beads.
Oh, okay. Are they like
Okay.
this type of thing?
Yes, that looks pretty big. I'm not sure if it's quite that big. Yeah, that's more of a tube bead as opposed to a
Okay.
bugle.
With
Yeah.
that idea.
Same idea. Susan, how does it look? Oh, that looks great. Wonderful. Now you're on mute, so I can't hear you.
Can you feature her?
Yes, let me see.
I
if-
did it too.
You okay, Jaga? You're there. Okay, I'm
Red-
going to
red and
spotlight
clear.
you. There you are. Perfect. Those are great. Okay, who else has got show and tell? Oh, hold on, Dale. Let me just spotlight you.
I'm behind.
Okay, no, it looks great. So you've done a completely different look to it. You're using shiny and matte.
Mhm.
So that looks great. Okay, who else have we got? Jaga, where are you? Jaga, show me. Okay, so replace spotlight. Here we go. Oh, I like your colors.
The red and then silver.
Oh,
Oh, pretty.
That is so cool.
Nice.
Good job
like
for you.
Really good, Jada.
Good.
Nice.
both
Nice.
sides are
So-
dramatic. That is nice.
Yeah. So
Nice.
I've got Linda. Linda's made a comment that these would make excellent Christmas presents. Linda, you're correct.
Listen,
Definitely would.
That's
you
if we're
buy
having
all the
Christmas.
beads, Pamela. You get a stock of beads, and what else can you do with them, right? That's what's going to
Well,
happen.
exactly. That's what's going to happen. So yeah. Okay, who else has got show and tell? If I haven't,
I have a
call
question,
out your name.
Pamela. Are you doing the Christmas snowflake?
Yes,
Okay.
that's the Super Duo one and the other. Yes, I've got 2 snowflakes coming up.
the pip beads.
Yes,
Where would I get those?
you can get those from Bead Effects. You can
Are they
also
from Bead
use
Effects?
any kind of a drop bead. I was thinking about this last night actually, that if people can't get those, there's another, I can sort of create a little picot at the end as well. So we can experiment with that, but you can get pip beads, and that's PIP.
Yeah. They're hard
at-
to buy though.
They are. Bead Effects has some, but as I say, any kind of a drop bead or looks like a teardrop would work. So if you have access to Mayuki drops or anything like that, they would work.
Okay.
And I'll see.
I don't like to order stuff online without seeing them. Like it's different.
Oh, I totally get it.
I know
Yes.
what a seed bead is, and then colors aren't just right. So
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I totally get that. Totally get that.
Okay. So
Yeah, because the colors never really match, and it's like it's not what I thought it was.
yes.
I don't order too much online. I because I'm a visual person, I really like to see what I'm ordering because
Mhm.
I'm really fussy on color and stuff like that. So
Do you know of any
Um,
good bead stores in Ottawa? We moved out of the Toronto area, and I haven't found anything in Ottawa.
there's a couple. There was one that was hit, Canada Beading Supply. They are around. They do sell seed beads. They sell a lot of stones. Meredith is the owner there. And tell her Pam Kern sent you. I hope she remembers me. But yeah, Canada Beading Supply is there. Sassy Bead Company used to be up there. I don't know if they're still around. They closed their Toronto. Susan, is that a no? You're on mute. Can't hear you. Okay, sorry, Susan, I can't hear you. You're muted. Okay. Oh, you're going to say bye? Okay. Yeah, Sassy Bead used to be up there. I'm not sure how much they have for seed beads, if they're still around. But certainly Canada Beading Supply is a good place to start.
I'll check it out. Thank you.
You're
Good.
welcome. Any other questions, comments?
Have you got any suggestions for Coburg?
Coburg?
I don't think we have a single bead place here.
No, so many have closed down.
Yeah.
I don't know of too many in that area at all. I know in Newmarket, you've got that bead lady. You've got My Oh My Beads in Barrie.
What about West End?
The West End.
Mississauga.
Not ones. What's the one in Oakville?
Yes, I know.
Iguana, I think she's in Cambridge. Iguana Beads.
Cambridge. That's Cambridge.
Yeah, it's definitely Cambridge.
Yeah, it's Cambridge.
Yeah.
You can tell how many bead stores I go to, right?
I was going to say, you're like a cotton picking walking encyclopedia. You don't have to look anything up, like jumping Jupiter.
I got mine done.
What can I say?
I bet you when you get in your car, it automatically goes. You don't even drive.
Oh, Sarah, that's beautiful. Okay, show us again.
Okay, hold on.
Oh, I like the colors. That's gorgeous, Sarah.
Yeah. Pretty. That's
Caribbean colors.
pretty.
Yes.
Good for you.
Good.
Oh.
So, yeah. I am always thrilled when I see what people are doing. So thank you so much. Friday, I have another class. We're going to be doing how to create a mask chain. So we're all wearing masks out and about. And so I'm going to show you a couple of chains or ways that you can do what you can create so you can actually wear your mask or have it handy at all times. And so that's what's going to come up Friday. And I know that there's some more stuff coming up as well. So yeah, feel free to email me. I do know that you will have a follow-up email from Joanna, and she has my contact information. If you do happen to be around Bead Effects and you want to say hi, pop in, let staff know and they'll call me. I do work Monday to Thursday. I try to take Fridays off. But yeah, I'm definitely around. Okay, and if you have questions on anything else, I'm happy to do it. If you want private classes, we can talk about that too. I do charge for those, so just so you know. And but that's about all I have for today. If you have no further questions, then I will say good night. Any other questions? Yeah, Art and Beads on Queen Street is great. They're near Queen Spadina, Queen Augusta area.
They're closed. They're closed.
Have they closed again?
No, they're not.
No, they closed for a bit and then they reopened under new
I was
management.
there last week.
Yeah, no, they're open.
I was down there a couple weeks ago and they were closed. So, that's good to know.
I was there last week.
Okay. Give them a call ahead. Maybe it was just something that was unexpected.
I spoke to them on Saturday also.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
They sell. You're quite welcome. Thank you all very much. And Indy says hi too. And you will get a copy of this class video. Joanna will send it out tomorrow. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jaga. Thank you all so much for your participation. And I'd love to see you again in another class. Take care. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye-bye.